I'm cold and hunger.
Where are we? We're at the Rainforest Cafe. Morning, it is 10:07 a.m. and we are at Heathrow Terminal 3. Where are we going, Evalyn?
Off to Detroit today on Delta Airlines with the A330-900neo, which will be a new aircraft for both of us, so that'll be fun.
Okay, let's get into a bit more detail on that. Of course, there's a flight that Evie just mentioned, the Delta Airlines A330-900neo from LHR to DTW. DTW sits in Michigan, about 27 kilometers away from central Detroit. But after a 5-hour layover, we have a second flight, a short-haul 344-kilometer hop across the Canadian border into Toronto, Ontario, on a Delta Airlines CRJ-900. We'll get more into that when the time comes.
The aircraft taking us across the Atlantic today is a 2022 built A330neo, registered November 414 Delta Zulu. It's split between 4 classes, with Delta 1 having 29 seats, Delta Premium Select having 28 seats, Delta Comfort having 56 seats, and Delta Main having 168 seats, which is where we'll be seated. Now that's all behind us, we can stop worrying about missing our flight and instead get a good look at our exterior of our plane that we're going to be spending the next 7 hours inside.
We managed to get past security, though we did have a slight issue that made me a bit shaking in my boots. I was a wee bit terrified. Apparently I entered something wrong on my ETA, and then that was causing errors, and the check-in agent was really confused. But they called up the Canadian visa office and got that sorted for us real quick. So thank you to the check-in agent that helped us there. We're all clear to fly to Canada via Detroit.
One great thing about Delta's A330neos in comparison to the competition is it has a 242 layout to many other of its competitors having a 343 layout, and it just has that extra room that many other carriers are lacking in economy. With only being 5'6", most airlines' legroom is more than enough for me. But if you're worried about that, Main has about 46 centimeters or 18 inches of legroom, which is, in my opinion, more than enough for a transatlantic route. When arriving at our seat, we'll find all you expect to find for a long-haul flight across the Atlantic: a pillow, a blanket, and the standard long-haul earbuds. I'm never usually a big fan of these, so I elected to bring my own. Delta's A330neos in economy come equipped with a USB port for you to charge your phone, as well as a universal power outlet. Unfortunately for us today, that power outlet did not work. That's enough from us. We'll now leave you to the sweet sounds of the Trent 7000 on our departure from London Heathrow.
USA. And celebrate what it takes to reach the Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games.
One great thing about choosing Delta for transatlantic flights is that they include free Wi-Fi if you have a SkyMiles account. So I'd very much recommend you set up one of those before you fly. And it's not just, your bad Wi-Fi that you usually get on flights. It's surprisingly fast.
With 210 movies, 99 series, 49 podcasts, and the scary Squid Game man, passengers will be having no problem finding something to pass the time. We didn't, especially as film nerds being landed with a film selection this stacked. Yeah, Train to Busan.
Speaking of, here's what Ava spent 6 hours watching.
Myself, I feel very safe.
Crazy Rich Asians. I really liked the dynamic between Rich and Poor and the dynamic between the guy's mother and the main character. I'll give it 8 out of 10. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is really great. There's some really reality bending stuff with the memory sequences that honestly I prefer over other dream related films like Inception. And also, it has a really emotionally resonant romance plot and also delves into the ethics of the fictional technology of memory erasure. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Every film that I watch on in-flight entertainment is in this Letterboxd list, link in the description.
Throughout the duration of the flight, the cabin crew very often came around to offer free water, much more than I've ever had on any other carrier, which was great.
We're about an hour into the flight and I got my special meal.
For my meal, I chose the cheesy gnocchi dish in a creamy tomato sauce, which was probably one of the best meals I've had on a flight. However, it was very much let down by the portion size.
It's also very dry and doesn't come with anything, I don't know, oil or butter or anything to make it less dry.
I got what I pre-ordered, a small packet of table crackers, an assortment of fruit, some wooden cutlery, all complementing my dal makhani, which consisted of lentils, paratha bread, basmati rice, peas, spinach leaves, and raisin. I liked it quite a bit.
As well as this, we were given a salad and a small salted caramel tiramisu. A bit later, the cabin crew came around offering the first in-flight snack of the flight, a warm chocolate chip cookie, which was possibly one of the best in-flight snacks I have had on any airline.
When we were well over the Atlantic, the shades went down, allowing some passengers to get some sleep. But this couldn't be us, as we were busy watching our films, not to mention that I have never in the first place been good at getting sleep in economy. Okay, I need the bathroom, so you know what it's time for. Pretty small, pretty bog standard airplane bathroom, especially for economy class. Been a few hours in the flight and it's really not that dirty, so I guess we're rating it 7 out of 10. As I finished up watching my 2 films and Evalyn got done watching Bargonia, we found ourselves passing over Montreal, which meant that it was finally time for our pre-landing meal, pizza. Evalyn got some dark chocolate cookie squares and a panzerotto bolognese, which was something in between a calzone and a pizza pocket. I got a lactose-free margherita pizza along with some melon and orange chunks. I found mine to be pretty decent while Evalyn spoke glowingly of hers. And after our meal, Evalyn snuck to the back to help herself to another cookie.
and after around 7 hours and 35 minutes, we touched down in Detroit. Overall, I say it was one of the comfier flights I've taken across the Atlantic, with friendly, attentive crew, good meals, and a pretty good IFE offering. We booked this as a return trip to Toronto, so how much I reveal it cost at the end of the video.
As someone who was a bit nervous about crossing American immigration, especially as I've never done it before, it was a surprisingly quick and painless experience. Aside from a couple of fingerprints, we were fine, though it was a bit weird that we had to catch our bags at the conveyors and then recheck them for our connecting flight. We've got through security and we're now in Detroit, Michigan. This is my first time being to either of the Americas, so this is very fun. You've been to America before.
I have, but it's a new state for me, so...
It's a new state for her. We're going to try and find, I don't know, like a restaurant or a Target, something that is very distinctively American, so we can officially say that we've properly been to America. Alright everyone, I've been in America for all of an hour. I do not know if this classical music is copyrighted. It's classical, so probably not. So, anyway, I've had the most quintessential American experience ever. First off, I did not know trucks could be this big, or even just regular cars. Like, we were in an Eubha on the way here, and it was f***ing huge. This, in a way, feels like a test run for more of America. But yeah, it seems pretty fun so far.
Overall, I had a really nice time, had some pretty good food, definitely want to come back here for a longer trip.
DTW was a fun airport to go through, especially with all the fun gimmicks they had going on throughout. A spitty water fountain, a perspective-based Delta Airlines display, and a really colourful tunnel. One of the really friendly local residents catching a flight to Indiana also had a really cute dog, which I did not get a video of, unfortunately.
Now to our next flight, which is aboard the backbone of so many airlines in the US, a CRJ-900. I've not exactly heard the best things about this aircraft, but let's go see how it is for ourselves. Our aircraft today was the 76-seater variant, split with 20 first class seats, 20 in Delta Comfort, and then 44 back in economy in Delta Main. Our seats today, 19A and 19B. Normally this aircraft has 2 toilets on board. However, one was out of order, which is alright for the hour-long hop from Detroit to Toronto, but anything longer and that would be completely unacceptable. In the end, it didn't even matter, since the seatbelt sign stayed on the entire flight.
One issue that I didn't personally anticipate in the CRJ-900 was the relative size of the luggage compartment. Where the A330 compartments were able to hold my small suitcase without a hitch, the CRJ-900 ones just could not. So the crew gave me a tie-on tag and an accompanying insurance tag to go in my pocket, and directed me to leave the plane, go to the boarding gate to get the tag tied on my suitcase. They asked me if I had any batteries in there, I said no, and then I was then directed to leave the suitcase on the bridge by the door. Before we departed, the ground crew loaded up the last pieces of luggage from me and a couple of other passengers that did the walk of shame, and then we were clear for departure.
Delta CRJ-900s are equipped with the standard foldable tray table, as well as a pretty nice 44 centimeters or 17.3 inches of legroom. Our flight today clocked in at around 43 minutes. The cabin crew didn't even come around once to offer any water, any coffee, nothing.
On an unrelated note, you want to know what did serve food and drink? Tucked away near the picturesque Niagara Falls on the Canada side of the border sits the Rainforest Cafe, an American chain establishment home to tens of thousands of plastic leaves, some tiny fish, bright arcade lights, colourful plush toys, and some occasionally very noisy animatronics. The food was so good that I forgot to film it before eating it. Anyway, back to our flight on the CRJ900 to Toronto.
Just like the previous Delta flight, surprisingly, there was free Wi-Fi on board. Not only did it include Wi-Fi, there was a small selection of Delta's IFE on here, including a wide range of movies, TV shows, even a few things from streaming services such as Crunchyroll, which really surprised me. After a very short cruise, we began our descent into Toronto Pearson. We bought our tickets as a return ticket to Toronto, costing us £530.49 both ways. Overall, for the flight to Toronto, it had a price per mile of around £3.75.
Thank you for embarking with us on what felt like the longest day of my life. Would be incredibly grateful if you shared our videos with your friends and communities, as currently we are relying on the money we have saved up to fly and take trains around the world, and would love to get to a point where our income from this channel subsidizes our travel costs so we can keep doing it. If you enjoyed what you watched or are interested in where we take things from here, please leave a like and possibly even subscribe for more. Thank you for watching this far, and see you in 2 weeks for a business class via rail train journey from Toronto to Montreal.